Welcome to the Insurance Marketing Organization podcast, where financial services marketing expert Seth Greene interviews IMO experts, executives, and top producers to share can't-miss tips on how they successfully manage their IMOs, grow their businesses, create great relationships, and influence the industry. And now, here's your host, Seth Greene.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Jill Lublin. She is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, and referrals. She is also the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, and the co-author of Guerrilla Publicity. Jill, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm always delighted to be with you, Seth.
All right. So you had such an incredible journey. How did you get started in the publicity business?
Well, it came from a failure. I failed out of law school. No, I didn't fail out of law school. I dropped out of law school because I hated it. But I felt like a failure. However, during that time, interestingly enough, I started actually working in the music business, and through that found my path as director of promotion at several independent record labels. And I'll tell you, if you're going to learn publicity anywhere, the music business is great because it's all about perception. So that's where I learned it. That's where I honed my craft, and have since run a PR agency, written the book on it, Guerrilla Publicity, and continue to serve people through virtual publicity courses.
Awesome. So, and I'm sure obviously the longer version of that story is in some of those books. So let's talk about what are some of the biggest misconceptions, insurance agents and financial advisors and financial service organizations have when it comes to PR?
So a couple things. One is that they don't, do it, that's for the big guys. Well, actually, I'm really convinced that those who stand out, those of you who are doing acts of visibility building, as I like to call it, and that can be many things, that you're going to be the ones that are top of mind, that people say yes to, and you're going to get business because you're going to magnetically attract people. That's what publicity does. It attracts your prospects and clients.
Absolutely. And it's so much more credible if, even if it's a local newspaper or television channel has you on or writes about you, as opposed to you just taking out an ad or sending out a marketing piece cold. So I agree. It definitely helps in the attraction space. Now, why do you think it is? You mentioned they think it's for the big guys, or that we need some $5,000 a month PR firm on retainer to try and get us something. You teach obviously something very different. Tell us a little bit about that.
So my whole thing is guerrilla publicity. What I mean by that, not the big ape kind, but the kind that saves you a lot of time, energy, and money. So I am all about here's how to get your publicity done with systems in place so that it gets done consistently, maybe an hour a week. That's all I'm talking about, my friends. This does not have to be hard. I certainly make it easy, and I pride myself on that. And, I spent 30 years in this business, understanding how this works and changing with the times and continuing to make things easier and easier. And I think that's really a mindset that each one of you need, is that publicity is easy. And, with the integration of the systems that certainly I have down pat, and consistently 1 hour a week of visibility building activity, you are in front of people. That's the important piece. And the power of publicity is the 3 M's. And I know, Seth, people like M&M's, but I've added a third M, and that is to magnetize you, to monetize you, and to multiply you. That's the power of publicity. So you're not always just one-to-one talking to a client or a prospect, but that you reach far more people by often being featured in your local press. So easy to get in, and a wonderful way to open up the world to have more people visit you and be attracted to what you're offering.
Awesome. So where do I get started? What do I do first if I'm looking to start getting some publicity for myself?
Okay, so you got to take that first step. See that little foot? You got to take that first step.
For those of you listening to the audio, Jill is holding up a foot on camera.
Yeah, not my own, however.
No, a little plastic foot. That's awesome.
You got to start with a step. And what step I think is best is to create a message that works. What do I mean by that? I mean, you are a problem solver in the marketplace, whether it's insurance, real estate, right? Whatever you're offering, you've got to be connecting to the message of what the problem is in the marketplace. Confusion, which for most people, especially with what all of you do who are listening, right? People are confused. They don't know where to start. And so you helping them get started is key, and you're the problem solver to that. To that end, I also like you to have some solutions, offer simple solutions, tell people what to do. Don't boggle them with jargon or everything you know, but come up with simple solutions of what others can do. Just like I'm telling you things now, you notice in very simple words. It has taken me my career to complete this. That's why I'm saving you so many steps in this process, just like each one of you are saving other steps. So step into those shoes, my friends. And that's the power of your message. That's where we start. And I think that's a great place for all of you to start. It also gets you really clear so that when you're networking, you can very effectively and competently and with confidence, by the way, which makes a big difference, say what the problem is and what the solution is versus I'm in insurance or whatever you might say. And I think people will listen much more carefully.
I think that makes a lot of sense. When we've decided that we want to try and go get ourselves some publicity, how do we find contact information for, the reporters who might cover us or write about us?
So a couple ways. One is there are lists that you can just buy. Two is you can Google quickly and see what people are talking about, as well as your media people in your marketplace. So that's probably the simplest, easiest, and I think that that's probably the quickest also. And
then I'm sure those reporters get inundated with requests. How do we stand out? Because if we just say, hey, I'm a financial advisor, I'm an insurance agent, they're immediately going to tune us out. How do we frame what we're doing in such a way that actually gets some attention?
So a couple things. When you're the problem solver, that makes a huge difference, right? And the truth is, if you don't even try, then nothing's going to happen. So let's get you trying first, meaning you pick up the phone, you send an email to a reporter, which, I believe honestly in starting in your local market for most of you, because it helps you create that visibility and it makes a big difference. Absolutely.
Once we've got get that practice under our belt in our local market, that's probably going to help our practice the most. Then, the credibility of, hey, I was on CNBC might be great, but that's not necessarily going to generate as many phone calls as being interviewed on your local NBC affiliate of prospects who might be interested. What are some of the tips and tricks? Obviously, we don't want you to spill the whole secret sauce. People should go get the courses in the books. But what are some examples of folks who have taken your course and kind of been able to put a creative spin on what they do in such a way that they got press coverage?
Well, let me just say, I had a man who owned an insurance company. And one of the things we did, he's over 60. He actually was also doing some writing and he loved that. So I said, listen, your insurance company is your second career. The writing is your third. We got him into AARP has, by the way, the largest and most well-read magazine in all of certainly the United States. And guess who got in AARP for writing as a third career and like thinking about what else are you going to do in life? And that quickly accelerated his actual income in the insurance agency. Actually had drove people to his website. His stats increased by 42%. I had another gentleman who's he's a financial management person and a financial advisor specifically. Now, there were lots of compliance issues and other things that we worked around in PR. You have to pay attention to, of course, what's ethical and legal in your field. And we were able to do it with this particular strategy around using everything you've got, one of my favorite strategies. So what we did was we used his wife's story. His wife had breast cancer. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm a guy, and he actually created a whole way that that partners, support people, friends can help those who have breast cancer. He got featured for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Do you know his website stats for financial advising went up by 37%. He got 7 clients in the first week and 15 prospects that frankly closed later. I mean, that's amazing within a week is what I'm saying. And it continued. That's one blog post that he received, and there was more, one blog post that was a great PR wonderful result. And the list goes on. I could give you more if you'd like, but I will tell you it's consistent. I'll just share one last one that I was actually doing a virtual booth recently, and this woman came up to me in the booth in Zoom, and she said, Jill, I'm here because I'm a consultant and I got featured in my local media. By the way, local's good, but so is national, whatever works best. She said, I got featured in my local media with 250-word article. And do you know, I got a $5,000 client from this. I know publicity works. I've seen it work, and I'm so grateful for what it's done for my business.
That is absolutely incredible. Now, you mentioned blogs. So there's a whole lot. We may think of publicity as TV, radio, and newspaper, but in today's internet and social media age, what are some other examples like blogs of where we might be able to get featured in a place that perhaps our competition hasn't even thought of yet?
So a couple things. One is, you know, there's not only blogs, but then in your local paper, there's a section called People in the News. It's all about you, your announcements, your what are you doing out in the world, right? And people, frankly, underuse this, but what I've seen is when people use it consistently and persistently, and think about that, can be consistent and persistent, you want to absolutely connect to everybody who can support you, but most importantly, who can you support? Who is your target audience? Good news, local always needs people like you, as well as Blog Talk Radio is a really great resource. So is like go to iTunes and find out who's doing business podcasts like we're on right now, right? And so you want to be talking and being everywhere you can that's possible. Look at your local business journal. And then if that story hits, like, you know, 5 things you can do to avoid insurance confusion, or what kind of Medicare coverage you need, you know, right now kind of thing. And, you know, make the stories interesting, make it real. And I like articles also, Seth. I like people to have a 500-word article, always available, ready, and quick to go.
That makes a lot of sense. Talk to us about how we can learn more. Talk to us about how we can get a hold of your courses and some of those additional resources that are so vital for getting PR.
Thank you. Well, a couple things. I've actually prepared a wonderful free gift for all of you. It's my action guide that is simple and easy. If you love these tips, I got even more in there with real things to do PR. And I have an invitation for you to join my publicity masterclass, also free. It's at publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. So make sure you sign up for both. And it's a really great way to get yourself started, expanded, and out in the marketplace.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will make sure everyone checks out publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. Greatly appreciate that. Jill, anything else you want to share about the world of getting publicity before we wrap up?
Well, I want to say that the important part, take that step, know that it's doable, simple, and whatever you feel most comfortable with, start there. Because what I know is when your message is great, you've got that confidence, and that right there brings in more business. That's what I've seen again and again. And to remember that your message matters. People need it. The media will celebrate it and spread it for you easily and effortlessly.
All right. Well, this has been Seth Greene with Jill Lublin of publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. Jill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Seth.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll see you or talk to you next time.